Similar to the previous lesson where we created explicit formulas, here we'll be creating recursive formulas. Recursive kind of sounds like reoccurring, and that is exactly what this style of formula looks like. So let's go ahead and read the question. Again, it's going to ask us for a recursive formula, and that's important to note. That's a key word. Explicit and recursive formulas are different, and so you'll need to be aware of that when you're completing these problems. A new pet store has opened. The store has 7 dogs the first month. Beginning the second month, the owner of the pet store has a goal to quadruple the number of dogs every month. Notice this looks just like the first question from the explicit formulas video, but our answer will be different. Choose an expression to complete the recursive formula for f of n, the number of dogs the owners have a goal of getting n weeks after the pet store has opened. So recursive, meaning reoccurring. Well, that means that if my first output is 7, then my second output is 7 times 4, which is 28. And again, quadruple means times 4. So here we've got 7, which is our initial value. Here's 4. And these are both pieces for explicit functions also. But in recursive functions, our function comes from the previous output. So rather than, I plug in 1, I get out 7. No, now we plug in the previous output, which is 7, and I want to get 28 out. What do I have to do to 7 to get 28 out? Well, I multiply it by 4. So 4 times the previous term is my recursive formula. 4 times 28 will give you the next one, and then I continue doing that multiplication. So let's go ahead and erase some of this work. So if you need to take this down as notes, go ahead and pause it. Okay, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to erase some of these items, and we're going to do another style. Okay, so let's go ahead and just say for a second that instead of 7 dogs, we have 12. And we don't want to quadruple anymore. Now we want to double. Well, that means that my first term is 12. My second term is double that, so I take my previous term and I double it. So 2 times f of n minus 1. If you need to take that down as notes, go ahead and do it. I'm going to erase it. And now we're going to change this again. Let's say that we start off with 27 dogs, and we want to have 8 times the number of dogs every month. Well, that means my first term is 27, and in order to get the next term, I need to multiply by 8. So this again, this is what I'm typing into Schoology, 8f parentheses n minus 1. I'm going to erase this, so go ahead and take down notes if you need to. Pause it and take down notes. Okay, here's our next one. Let's say that instead of 7 dogs, now we have 3. And instead of quadrupling it, we want to have 9 times the number of dogs. We have a goal to have 9 times the number of dogs. Well, this first value is 3. And we have 9 times the previous output. So an example of that. So I take f of 1, which is 3, and multiply by 9, and I get 27. And I take 27, and I multiply by 9, and I end up with 243. And then I keep moving on. That's what this tells me. For my second term, I'm using the first term and multiplying by 3. Good luck on the video. Essentially, your key components are how many times is it being multiplied, and then I just take the previous term, f of n minus 1.